Alright, so just as a first introduction one, do you have any idea where or when Ankh was stationed for the war, or about like how long it was?
He was over there. I really don't know for sure, but he was over, I think, for about 2 years.
Hmm.
But I don't know where.
Okay. He was, which service branch was he in? Was he in the army?
Army.
Do you know like anything specifically that he did, or
No,
no?
he
Okay.
never talked to us.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, did you ever like receive any letters or like send any to him about the war at all?
I don't remember getting any, and I don't remember sending any.
Any at
But
all to
it,
him?
but Grandma might have sent him some.
Grandma might have?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so I guess it's more of. Do you think like when he was sending the letters, do you think it was when he talked to Grandma? Was it more of like actually what you think he did, or do you think it was more of like a cover up? Like a lot of the times we were reading like letters that vets was sent home, and it was stuff about like, oh, it's actually not that bad, and they would kind of talk about like the more positives and the negatives. So do you feel like Unc would talk more about the negatives,
Well,
or
yeah, he talked more about the negatives. He was complaining all the time.
yeah, that can totally be okay. Yes. All right. So there's not really any particular stories or anything you ever really remember from Unc about the war at all.
No,
No. All right.
just he didn't believe in it. That's
No,
much I
not at
know.
all.
No,
Well, do you think like not believing it, was he like against going to war? Like when he was there, was he angry about it? Did he not want to go at all?
well, he didn't want to go, but he didn't have any choice. He got drafted.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, do you think like when he got back from the war, do you think he was like a different person? Like, did you feel like he changed from the war? Hey, sit down. Stop.
No, I don't think the war really changed him at all.
No, like he was only there for a couple of years.
Yeah, he was always rebelling against something anyway. His whole life.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Was when he finally made it home back, there wasn't really a whole lot of change then. Like the fact that he made it home safe, as regards to like how many people died across the war. Do you think
No,
there was not a whole lot of change?
he never really talked about it.
No. Okay. Um, have you ever like, did you ever like have the thoughts go across your mind about like, what if you didn't make it? Like almost like 60,000 people died during the war. Do you feel like, do you ever like get real worried about him, or do you ever like really panic or?
No, no, he managed to usually stay out of any real conflicts if he could.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I don't think he changed it at all. I wasn't I wasn't really that concerned about it.
No.
He handled everything pretty well.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, do you know personally offhand if he actually even like killed anyone, or did he never
No,
mention anything?
no, he wasn't in combat. He was in some backup support role.
Mm.
He never saw any real.
So did he even like carry a weapon, or did he? Do you know what he did like
No,
any at all?
no, I
Okay.
don't.
All right. Well, let's see. Do you think after the war, once he came back, and his like career in the U.S., do you think that was influenced at all by the war, or did it like he was a carpenter, right? When he
Yeah,
came
I
back,
don't think it made much difference.
not at all.
No,
Okay. Let's see. Um, do you know if he ever, or if you, besides Unc, actually, excuse me, do you know if Unc ever lost anyone that was close to him in the war? Any friends or relatives? Did he ever mention anything like that?
not that I know. No.
All right. All right. How about? Do you have association with anybody else besides Unc that was involved in the war? Any other vets? Any other people that were like in peace rallies that tried to rally against the war? Do you remember anything
No,
against that?
no, he didn't have any problems there.
No. So was it pretty much like not really affected as to where we were in the United States, just being in like Okinawa? it just wasn't really much of a change in at least the U.S.'s part. Do you feel like in this part of the country?
I I think most of the protests and everything all happen in your larger cities. I don't really recall anything going on out here.
Mm-hmm.
But that was about the time when we got married
Mm-hmm.
and moved out here. Kind of was still in school, as a matter of fact, when the war started.
Mm-hmm. Well, did it like your marriage or like schooling? Do you feel like that changed at all as regards to the war? Like,
No,
just pretty much just went on living life, so it didn't really, have a whole lot of effect on where we were as
it didn't.
Americans, I guess.
No, it didn't. I didn't see any real big effect from it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Um, so how about you personally? Were you like pro for the war or were you against the war? And what was your viewpoint about it?
I
Were
don't
you
even.
indifferent?
I really don't even remember having a particular point of view on it.
Do you remember
But
anything about what Unc said about the war? Was like, do you remember like
well, he didn't like it
his?
because he had to follow orders.
That was his only thing, that he didn't want to follow any of
Right.
the
He
rules.
always wanted to do his own thing, which didn't necessarily fit in.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. All right, so if you were to be looking back on it, like nowadays, do you think that this war is like necessary for the U.S. to be involved in? Do you think it was like actually worth it?
Vietnam one?
Yeah, the
No,
Vietnam.
I don't think it was worth it.
Just
I
as
don't know what we were trying to accomplish over
Yeah.
there in the first place.
there's a lot of people that died. Do you feel like what outweighed the fact that you're trying to stop the spread of communism in North Vietnam? Was that wasn't outweighed by all the deaths and like all the things that all the U.S. families had to go through?
I don't think it was.
Okay. Let's see. So, what do you think made this war different from like any other wars that we experienced or that you experienced throughout like your life? There's just like just average war that kind of didn't change
No, I
a
think
whole
it's
lot.
different. Like the Second World War, we were attacked on both fronts, so that's what started those. I don't think this one we had any business getting involved in, really, the Vietnam one.
Yeah.
It's just like things in the Middle East today. We got to keep our noses out of there. You're never going to win anything.
It's just kind of trying to stop the foreign countries from their crazy government corruption stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. When the war's finally over, did you have any like initial thoughts or feelings? Were you just like excited for the war to be over, or?
Well, I was happy that it was over, that we could bring our guys back home.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you didn't really accomplish anything, so
Yeah, I guess. Were there any
good thing it was over.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so were you more excited for like the return of Ankh himself coming back, or just like the U.S.'s involvement as a whole, is so we don't have to deal with the troops there?
Well, I think it was a combination of both. We were happy to get the troops out, and happy for him to come home.
Yeah. Were there a lot of people that you knew that were actually like involved in the war itself? Like, did you know any other people?
I just
besides
know
them?
one other guy. He had his right arm blown off
And was he?
Christmas Eve by a rocket-propelled grenade.
Oh, jeez. Do you remember what was this guy's name? Was he in the army? Do you remember?
He was in the army. Ron Schwartz
Oh,
lives here in town.
oh yeah. Does he? Was he? Do you know anything else about it? Just the fact that he had his arm blown off. Do you remember anything else about it?
No, he never really talks about it much.
Yeah.
Just that I know that's what happened. He was talking about it one day and he just told me.
So you feel like a lot of vets kind of just like to keep to themselves about the war and not really.
I think a lot of them do.
Oh, that could be a good point, I guess, because a lot of people I feel like were against the war and didn't even want to really talk about it or remind themselves about it.
Well, I think they don't like to.
Really bring back those
They don't.
memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of human nature not to.
There was a lot of crazy stuff that definitely happened. All right. So once we got closer towards the end of the war, Do you remember any like large celebrations or similar things to that, like that happened in the U.S.?